You know, if that chair isn't soft enough, I'm getting my money back. If that chair is not comfy enough to be sitting on for a long time, I got it because it looked cute. Now I have suspicion. It's okay if I lay by you?
Yeah, but I'm really focused on.
No, I'm not gonna distract you. Maybe we can lay.
Mhm.
I don't want to be in one room all the time. I really lay down.
How do I share this? Oh, fucking help. We are live now. Oh, here. Hmm. Okay, we're on. Had a little bit of troubleshooting there, but we are on and we are live. Okay, so let's see. We don't have anybody on just yet. I'm gonna wait just a little bit, see if anybody's coming through. I don't know if that one is me watching from my other, what you call it, screen, or if there's someone here. So let me close this now that I know that it's active. Okay. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Um, There's a little bit of noise where I'm at, so let me move my location real quick. Thanks for your patience. I'm going to explain where we are as we go. Now, once you have your hosting together, once you have your hosting bot, your domain bot, and your hosting and your domain are talking to each other, then what you're going to do is install the Divi. I can help you with that, or you can follow the link in the description of this video or the previous preparation video. and it will take you to where you can buy Divi and install it. But I can walk you through that too. Just connect to me. Now, the way you log into your WordPress site is by going to the address of your website. So for example, for me, if you see in this the screen, how I'm sharing my screen, if you look in the address bar of this screen share, you're going to see that it says Lunar Rain Botanicals / WP -admin, right? You see how it says here, lunarrainbotanicals.com / WP -admin. That's how you log into the back end of your WordPress site. Once you log in, once you put that in the address bar, it's going to take you to a page that says it's asking for your username and your password. Once you log in successfully, you're going to get to the back end of your website, which looks like this. This is basically what everybody's back end of their WordPress website looks like. And you see it's highlighted here, dashboard here at the top left. So that's how you know that you're in your dashboard. Now, this is super simple. The whole logic that you need to remember and understand about Divi is that it's done in sections for the page. But first, let's get to starting a new page. So here on the left hand of WordPress, you see all these different menu items, right? So what we're going to do is I want to get straight into designing, how to use Divi to design. All this other stuff has to do with making ads, or this one is different plugins that you'll put into your website in order to have it more functional. They'll automatically add menu items here to the left for your added functionality. So for example, I have Stripe on my website, and it has this I added this extra menu item here called payments. I use WooCommerce as well. So WooCommerce added this. You're not going to have this option unless you download the WooCommerce plugin, which is free. And that's basically just to add like a store functionality to your website. And then, this is another plugin that I use, Product Slider, so that I can display my products on a slider, because that doesn't come built in with Divi, but this one is also free. So my point is just to show you that this menu right here on the left, this is where you go to in order to make your administrative changes to your website, whether it has to do with adding your plugins or adding your Divi theme, or adding a mail service that would connect to an email service that would connect to your website. See here, I have MailChimp. So this is where you're going to find this menu here on the left of the screen is where you're going to find all of those options, right? Now, this is also where I'm going to go to when I want to make a new page in Divi, which is what this video is about, how to actually do the designing part in Divi, because I'm of a WordPress site using Divi, because this is one of the main reasons why people don't want to do WordPress, because it's a little clunky. But with Divi, it makes it super, super easy, super easy. So you go to pages, okay, and then you're going to go to add page. Once you have Divi installed and you go to add page, then you're going to get to a screen that looks like this. Okay, see where it says build your layout using Divi. This is only showing up because we've already installed Divi on my website. So I'm going to do testing, or maybe I'll call it demo page, right? Okay. So then I'm going to use Divi Builder to make my page called demo page. And it opens up options that I can use. So you can use a pre-made layout, which I'm just going to browse quickly, but I'm not going to use the pre-made layout to show you how. I just want to show you that if you do use a pre-made layout, there's tons of them, and they're all included in the Divi package. So you can get everything from a code. And with these, they're so modern, they're so sleek, and they use a lot of up-to-date technology and little bells and whistles on websites, such as and you can just put your cursor over the template that you're interested in, and you'll see how it looks in real time what it would look like if somebody were scrolling down it, right? And with these, you could just drag and drop, and you got all the different categories of different types of websites that you might be interested in making. So for example, if I do events, I filter for events. These are going to be all the different types of templates for websites that have to do with event making or an event planner. So for example, I'm making a website for an event planner, who's a wedding planner, then I might want this one. And it's literally just drag and drop. You don't even have to design anything with this stuff. When you click on the template, you'll see that this template is not just for one page, but it's for a bunch of different pages that would make up your entire website. From describing the services, this is the landing page. I don't even know what the difference between a landing and a home page is. Maybe the landing page is a page that you would put as a link in one of your bios on social media. That's not necessarily the home page of your website, but something highlighting a specific feature of your business. And they got a home page, a gallery page, contact page. So this is how, and literally you just drag and drop, copy and paste, delete, go into these things and put in your own. You can change the picture. You can change everything you see in these templates. But I just wanted to let you know that you can do templates and give you an idea of what it would be like to choose a template, what the templates kind of come with. But I want to start from scratch so you can see kind of the way, the logic that Divi is using to build these websites. Okay, so I'm going to go out of this because I don't want to use a template. I want to start again from scratch. Oh, wait, it made this page. Oh, geez. Well, let me go back to the dashboard and there we go. Okay, so edit with the Divi Builder, the demo page. Now it gives me these. I never do build with AI because it's brand new. And whenever features are brand new and it has to do with AI, there's going to be a bunch of bugs that I don't really feel like dealing with right now. Everything is still so fresh and new. So I don't ever touch that. But if you felt like experimenting with it, that's cool. So we looked at the pre-made layout option. This is what I want to teach you from here is build from scratch. Okay. So right away, I'm going to close this. Right away, it gives me the option to enter a row. But let me explain to you first. The reason why when I do a page building from scratch, it looks like because I'm in my website right now. I have already programmed in another part of Divi that each new page that I make is going to have this as a header up here, which is my logo and menu and a background picture. And this as a footer, which is where I capture my emails and another menu, and then all this other, legal and promo stuff. This is my footer. And every single page that I make as I'm starting new is going to have a header and a footer. Okay, let me just make sure I don't have any questions in the chat. Okay, so then the way that Divi works is that you have sections, rows, and then modules, right? So this blue area, so I told you, this here top area is my menu that was pre-made in there. Like, I wish I could have picked a page, or I wish I had turned that off for just this video. But anyway, pretend like it's not there because you're not going to have this there when you're starting your website, unless you pre-make it. But for now, you're not going to have this there, this header, this whole section here. It's just going to be a blank screen, right? And you'll see that in that blank screen, there's going to be a blue box. This blank area in between my header and my footer is what you're going to have on your screen, just blank. This blue box is called a section, okay? In the section, and the section is basically a way to organize their nested items. Divi works in a logic of nesting items inside of other items. Everything, every functionality that you want is going to be a module. That module is going to be inside of a row, and that row is inside of a section. So section is the top layer of organizing everything, and the section has the blue boxes around them. That's how you can distinguish them. So the section, and in this section, you can define, you see this gear? Let me go back. You see this gear button right here, this blue gear button? That's the settings of the section. This here, which is the top level of organization, which is the biggest umbrella of the organization hierarchy in Divi. This here crossing here is how you would move if you wanted to move the section to go somewhere else, but there's really nowhere else to go for the section. Oh, okay. This is the settings. This here thing is to duplicate this section. If you had made something in this section, you want to duplicate everything in it, it would make another one. And this is to download it. This is to trash it. And this is other things, but we'll get into that later. So we have a section. For example, let's say I want this section to not take up the full screen. That's when I would go into the section settings, right? And then it pulls up whenever you, for every element in here in the settings, it's going to pull up a box once you go into the settings that gives you all of the settings options for the pertinent element, right, that you clicked on for settings. And when you go under, I'm going to go under design, and I'm going to go under sizing. You see, it's kind of cartoony and really easy to intuitive to follow what is what and where is where. And then this section, you can align it to the left, middle, to the right. This here is where I want you to show you if you want to change the width of it, just to show you. So I'm changing the width of this section to 80%, and then I'm going to center it. Okay. Now you see how the blue divider is not from edge to edge. It's only filling up 80% of the screen. So that means any screen that this section comes up on, whether it be a tablet or a phone or a big computer screen, it's only going to take up 80% of the screen. See? So that's an example. Now, that's the section. Inside of the section, you have rows, right? The rows, you can configure them in how all these different kinds of divisions of rows and numbers of rows. And you can change them once you've already chosen them. So I'm going to do this row, for example, with 2 rows, 2 columns in it. And then you see it automatically asks me if I want to put a module, because like I said, it goes section, see the blue, then row, you see the green, and then in each row is the module. Now that's where the actual functionality of the website is, where the actual content is going to be. It's going to be a module. Any kind of content you want in here is going to be a module. Okay. These row and this section, it's just a way to place and organize and space out the modules. So let me show you what I mean by modules. So insert a module. Now, this is all the different things you can put in. It's a way, they're different data, different content types. The actual content of your website is going to be placed in this website using a module. Okay. So these are all the different kinds you can put: a bar counter, a blog, a blurb, which is a picture with, let me show you what a blurb is because I use them a lot. So let's say, for example, we're going to do a blurb. A blurb is a picture with a title that goes to it and a caption that goes to it. This is a blurb. It comes together all in one module, right? So let me close this quickly so you can see how I got there. So this, you see the modules are outlined in gray. See this gray outline? This module is inside of this row, which is green. Okay. This row has 2 columns, this one and this one. This column to the left and this column to the right. And if you remember, the way that what I chose was 2 equal width columns. When I click on this outline for my row, you see here this little infographic that looks like a bunch of columns. That's the structure of my row. I can change it too. So I chose this row that has equal column widths. I could have chosen this one here that has the left column narrower than the right column. And then if I change it after the fact, and you'll see that it's now, okay, hold on, let me answer this. Hi, Amo.
Hey, love.
How do you do?
Huh?
Are you on? I'm explaining it now.
You're doing what?
I said, are you online? I'm explaining it now.
Oh, okay. I didn't see. Okay, my bad. I'm interrupting you. I'm like, why isn't she on? My bad. Okay, bye.
Okay. I hope I'm not any issues. Let me try myself. Yeah. Okay. So, is that you, Amma? If so, I can start again because I don't want you to miss it. You're the main person I'm doing this. I want to make sure you get this. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and start again because it's not a lot. So, and anybody, I'll edit it afterwards anyway. So let me go back to my dashboard, discard and exit. So what I'm doing is I'm starting at the dashboard, which is what you get to once you log into your WordPress website, right? Once you're gonna log in, you're gonna go to put your website address in the address bar, and then you go /wp-admin. That's the fastest way to get into the back end of your WordPress website to do editing, right? And so then once you go in there, you're gonna add your username, your password, and you're gonna get to this here, which is the dashboard. This is the back end of your WordPress website, right? Hey, okay, good. So then, now that you're in the back end of the WordPress website, what I really want to do is show you how to make, well, first let me explain to you this here on the left-hand side that you see here. Yours is not going to look as long as mine because what happens is in plugins, you download plugins and add functionality to your website. Those plugins are going to automatically add more options to this menu here on the left. So this menu here on the left and for WordPress is where you're going to do all your ads for your WordPress site. Okay. So for example, I have a MailChimp menu item here because I connected my MailChimp. I downloaded a plugin in order to connect my MailChimp account to this website so that it could talk to each other and I could collect people's emails. That was free. Also, I use WooCommerce and I use Stripe. And these are two plugins that I downloaded in order to have a functioning store. That was also free, right? So when you download some plugins, they'll put menu items to the left here as well, so that you can go in there and change the settings and stuff like that. You know, here I'm going to do my taxes, put the tax rates in there, shipping profiles or whatever. So what we're going to do, what I wanted to go over today, that was exactly how to design the website itself, because that's where most people get stuck on not wanting to do WordPress because they think it involves code and stuff. But with Divi, it's super simple. So to add a new page, you're going to go to pages here on the left. Then you go to add page. Right? When you click on add page, it's going to take you, and you have Divi installed, it's going to take you to this page here where it says build your layout using Divi. It's going to ask you to add the title of your page. It can always be changed afterwards. But for now, I'm going to call this demo page. Right? And then we're going to go use Divi Builder. Let me close this door because I can hear my daughter. Okay, so then when we click on that, it's going to give you 3 different options from Divi on how to make your page. So I never do build with AI right now because I need to see all of the components and I need to have full access to all of the components of my website. And it's kind of clunky when these days with AI. So I don't have time to troubleshoot. I know how to make these stuff real clean without any issues. And sometimes AI will make issues that you don't even know how to get to the bottom of. So I just want to show you quickly this pre-made layout option, because a lot of people, I use the pre-made layouts, but by the time I'm done, it's nothing like the layout that I chose. But I just want to show you just in case, because it's super easy and drag and drop, copy, paste. For example, if I'm doing a community nonprofit, this is a category. When you see all the different templates in here, you just put your cursor over each of them and it'll show you the gist of what this theme is about. So this is like a water nonprofit, I guess, for water things, water related things. When you click on that, you'll see that this template actually has a template for an about page, a blog page, a contact page, a get involved page, and a home page and a landing page. So you could click on any one of these and you'll see that it's already fully made with like straight up graphics and backgrounds and different kinds of up-to-date modern website elements. And you can delete them, add what you want, really, really easy, or just leave it exactly as it is and just copy and paste your company name in it. You know what I mean? So templates are really cool, but you need to understand a little bit of the logic of what Divi is and how Divi organizes the content in order to kind of like do this. So that's why I'm going to go back and start with a blank page. Go back, ready? Okay, so we got this demo page. I click on edit with the Divi builder. I'm just going to pull up the 3 options. So I'm going build from scratch. Now, when I open this up and I do build from scratch, it's going to be on your end a totally blank white workspace. On mine, though, because I pre-programmed, let me show you what I mean. This is what my blank page is going to look like, because I'm inside of my website in order to do this demo. I've already set Divi to do this same header on every single page that I'm making new. Automatically always give me this header, which is my logo with this graphic behind it and this menu, right? And then I also told it on every new page I make, put this footer as well, which is where I capture emails, another menu, and then all this commercial legal stuff for the footer. So every new page I make is going to have a header, this exact header, and this exact footer that you're going to do in Divi as well. If you want to automatically put a header on every page or a footer, you're going to do it in Divi as well, but not in the add new page option. I'll show you that later. So when you click on add new page and you do build from scratch, you're going to have a totally white workspace. So I'm going to pretend like your workspace looks just like this, and it's going to already come with a section. So Divi organizes the content on 3 levels: section, row, module. So sections are always outlined in blue. The section is the top layer of the organizational hierarchy. Okay. And it really just is about the section organizes the space, the umbrella space, not any of the info yet, just the space. So for example, I'm going to go in each of these blocks. Also, you'll see in the top left corner here are options to edit it. Well, this first one here will let you move it around the whole page, but I don't have anywhere to move it to. So, because it's just blank and there's nothing else there. But this first cross thing is what you're going to click on to move this section. If you wanted to move it up or down or relocate it somewhere on the page, that's where you'd go. And you'll see that your cursor turns into this cross thing. This next one with the gear shift, that's the section settings. So let me give you an example of what we do in here. let's go to, in here, you can put a background to this section. Like, so I'm going to go, let's make it yellow. You see? So this section, I made it a background of yellow, and you can tell that's on the section level because it fills up the entire blue. Blue outline is the section, right? Let's say I go back to settings, and this deals with the content, but you'll get used to how it's organized. So, and look on the top left of this here menu that popped up for the settings for the section. It says section settings. So that's how you know what you're editing at the moment. So if you want people to be able to link to somewhere else, if they click anywhere in this section, you would do that here. Click on link and put that in there. I just went into the background and added a color, but I could have also added a gradient, which is one color going to another. You could also add a background image. You could also add a background video, and you would just, and you, this video could be on YouTube hosted, so it would take up a lot. The page would load faster if someone else is hosting the video, and you just put a link in there. You can put a pattern, or you could also put a mask, which is where it just cuts out shapes. Okay, but I'm going to keep it simple with the color. Now, if I want to change any of the design of it, then you click on this design tab. And so, for example, I want to change the sizing. So there's width. You can put in the width by pixels, or I think it's mostly pixels, but or percentage of the screen that it will take up. So I usually don't touch it by pixels. I go with the max width. So I'm going to say the maximum width that I want you to have this section to be to fill up any screen. I'm going to put it down to like 90%. And do you see here how my section got less wide, and it's only taking up 90% of the full capacity of the screen because I set it up as 90%. That means that if I pull up this website on a cell phone or a computer or a tablet, this section is only going to take up 90% of the screen, right? And then this is where you can align it left, how it is now. You can center it. You see how it just centered that section? Or you can make it to the left. I mean, it's just pretty, make it aligned to the right. You see now it's aligned to the right and there's space on the left. So I'm going to keep it centered, right? Now, that's basically all you can do with this section is change the backgrounds, make it linkable, whatever. But you're not going to have any functionality of the website per se till you get to the module level. Remember, it's sections and then rows and then modules. So then the rows, you see how we have a green button inside of this blue outline? The blue outline is a section. The rows are inside of the section. So when I hover over this green button, it says add new row. So it gives me the options if my row is going to be just one column, 2 equal columns, 3 equal columns, 4, 5, 6 equal columns. You can have 2 columns with the one on the left wider than the one on the right. So I'm just for now going to do 2 equal columns. So if you'll see, this has now I've got a box inside of a box. This box that's green is a row. This box that it's inside of that's blue outlined is this section. This is just how Divi organizes all of the information that you're doing. The people on the other end do not see these lines and these section orientators or whatever. Only you see them when you're in the back end designing your page. It's to give you an understanding of where your stuff is and how it's organized. So this row can be changed after. You can change it at any time, even after you put content in it. So let's say, for example, I was like, oh, I want to have, let's say like a graphic over here, and I want to have the explanation of it over here, right? So that's why I chose 2 rows. But let's say, for example, I wanted them to be 3. And all of a sudden it's going to give me something with 3 rows with these 3 dark gray plus button icons in there. This is to add a module. Now the module level is where all the meat and potatoes and content of your website really is. The section level, the row level, those are just ways to organize the placement of these modules. The modules is where all the stuff is. Let me just double check. I don't got no chat. Oh, okay. Okay, and I really need to get This live is not in sync. I'm gonna jump off and book a current call. So I don't know how to start in your way past me. Okay, no problem. Okay, I'll call you. Okay. So then I'm just going to continue for who is here right now. So then you'll see in this module here, if I click on this, this is where I insert a module. And now we got all the different options of what we could possibly add. You can put a video. You can put a testimonial. You could put text, regular text. You could put a social media follow button. You could put a slider, which is a bunch of different pictures or videos that you can slide and see. You can put in a number counter, an image, a heading, which is just text that's really big, a gallery of images, an email opt-in, right? So let's say, for example, a code. This is the code. This is when you want to put in, for example, a plugin that's giving you a code to put into your website in order for it to work. You would do this code thing module, and then you copy and paste and put the code in here. So a very popular one that I use a lot is a blurb module. Let me give an example of the blurb. A blurb is what they call these three elements together in one. It is an image, a title for the image, and a description of this image, right? And you'll see, let me close this. That's the settings for the blurb. You'll see that it went in this most left column of this row. Just to go back, you see the green outline is showing me the row that I'm in. And I have chosen, and I'm working with a 3 equal column row. I put this module in the leftmost column of this row. This is a blurb module, and the modules are always outlined in gray. The modules sit inside the rows. The rows are inside of the section. You see? So, and then to put the image in this blurb, to put the title in the blurb, to put the text to this blurb, it really is going to the section, to the module settings. The gearbox that belongs to the dark gray outline module. Remember, module is inside of the row, is inside of the section. So you'll see when I go to the blurb settings, there's 3 different categories, options. One is content, the content of the blurb itself. So the actual title is going to go here. We put demo blurb, and you see it updates in real time. This is the actual. You could also just tap in this and edit it right on the screen. You could edit it in here as well. So, and they'll both update in real time. So we'll just do testing, right? See how it updated? Testing, and now the content says testing here as well. So this is the title. This is where you'd put the words of the description. And then this, you could also change the image here. So this image is this placeholder gray thing. You can also make it so that if they touch anywhere, if they hover anywhere over this entire blurb, it will take them to a link that's here. Put the link title. You put the target if you want the link to open in this same window, or a new tab, open up a new tab for the link. And then you put the link that you want it to go to right here. So that's the option under here. All content or all elements in this website using Divi is going to have these 3 options when you click on the settings for it. First the content, then the design, and then advanced. The content is always just the most basic part of the information. The design is now how it's going to look. Do you want to center this? Do you make it wider? Do you want to change the font, right, of the text? So this here is the title, and this here is the regular text. And when you hover over the options in this settings box, you'll see that a blue outline also shows up in the blurb itself, in the thing that you're editing itself, to let you know that's how you edit. So you see how I'm hovering my cursor over image and icon, and then the image and icon itself gets a blue outline around it, just to let you know this is what you're about to edit. And this is where I'm going to change the settings of this icon. So I can make it wider, I can make it smaller, right? I can make it left aligned, center aligned, right aligned. These are all the particulars of how I want this image to look. The image itself, though, is under the content tab of this blurb settings, right? Where it says image and icon. This is where you would put an image in. So I'm just going to add this image that I have already uploaded into my backend. You see, so I put that image in there. And that's under content. But now when you want to change the way it's designed, that's when you go to the design page. Every single module is the same. Content, design, advanced. Content is the actual content that you're working with. And design is how you want it to look, right? And so we're working on the blurb module. Remember, the blurb comes with 3 things: an image, a title of that image, and then some text. So this is the title text. You see how the blue outline showed up over demo blurb, because that's the title. That you're going to edit separately from the body text, which is regular text, which is body text here, right? You see when I put over body text, it made the blue outline over the body text. Now you can change the sizing of this entire module, right? It came already preloaded with 550 pixels, because that would make it fill in the width of the column that is, one of the 3 equal width columns that we may have in this row. And you can change the height. You can put a border around. You can put a box shadow behind it. These filters are more like graphic filters for the colors of the stuff that's in there. You can skew it, transform it. I never touch these things because you don't need to. You can animate it. Sometimes I touch this where like the elements will fly in. But when you put too many fancy schmancy things, sometimes it gets buggy. So, and then it can be distracting. So you got to use these with taste. So then, you can make this entire blurb fade in. You can make it slide in. You can make it bounce in, zoom in. All these are like animating things that you can do. And it will affect the entire blurb. Remember, the blurb has 3 elements: the image, the title, and then the body text. And literally, that is it. That's it. Once you understand that there's a section, in this section is a row, you define how you want the row to look, how you want the row to be, the columns of the row to be divided. And then there's modules. The module itself is the meat and potatoes of your website. So let's say, for example, I want to put just, let's say I want to do a picture gallery in this next column. So I picked on gallery. Okay, and so it put in default placeholder images, which you can change, right? You can change the order that it's in. You can change how many you want. So let's just say 2. Now it's only going to have 2 images, you see? And then you'll see that it's scrolled so that all the other images are on another page with only showing 2 at a time. It's really just like designing. You see, there's no code involved. It's just like designing a flyer or something like that, except that you can design, it goes endless. You can add as much as you want. You just keep going. It's a computer screen, so it just goes and goes and goes. It scrolls it down as much as you want it to scroll down, right? And then in this gallery settings, because I added the module of a gallery. So of course, again, in this settings of this module, all modules are going to have these 3 options. Content, we actually add the actual content, which would be, whether it be the words that you want to say or the pictures that you want to use in the gallery. And then the design tab is always going to be how you lay it out. Do you want it to be smaller than it is? Do you want to center it, put it to the left, put it to the right, put a filter on it, put a border around it. So let's put a border around my gallery. I put a border, let's say this is going to be all around. You could put a border just on the top, just on the right, just on the bottom. You see how graphic it is? All of these, it's really looking at pictures and choosing the picture that you want. So I'm choosing the picture that goes along with the design that you want. So I'm going with a border that goes all around, and then I choose border width. I'm making it 4 pixels wide. Do you see how as I'm going up with the pixels, it just gets wider, bolder and bolder and bolder? You can change the border color, make it red, make it orange, make it yellow, make it green. Okay. You can change the border style, make it salad dashed. You could do it as a groove, do it as a dotted. You see? So it's all pretty intuitive, no coding whatsoever, right? And it's all by pictures, and it's all very uniform. It's all kind of the same thing over and over again. You got a section that is going to contain a row, right? The row, you can have it in as many different columns as you want, configurations of columns. And then once you get down to the module level, now we're adding the actual content of your website. And again, so I put a blurb module here, I put a gallery module here, and it comes automatically with this. You can change the way the counter on the bottom looks. You can make it disappear. You can put an arrow on either side for people to click on the arrow and go to the next image, or it'll automatically scroll to the next image. All of that is going to be in the settings of this module. So the module that we picked was a gallery, a picture gallery. And so yeah, all of that. This is where you put in the actual images for the gallery. And this is where you change the way where it looks, design. Every single module, no matter what you chose, whether it would be a blurb like what this is, or image gallery like what this is, it's all going to have the same 3 options of how to manipulate it: the content, the design, and then advanced, right? So far we put a module in this column, which is a blurb. We put a module in the middle, which is an image gallery. And then we can put another module here in the most right column of this row. And let's just put a button. We can put a button. And this button, like let's say we want to do add to cart, right? Or we want to do go to this page, right? So put a link. I'm going to link it to another page in my website, which is rainbowbotanicals.com/product-catalog, which is another page on my website. Let's say, for example, you want to say, check out our full website here. Click on here, and you want that to be a button. You would use a button module, right? And then in the settings for the button module under content is where you put the actual link that you want it to go to. They're going to ask you, where do you want the button link target is when the person clicks on the button, where do you want them to go? Do you want it to open it up in the same window, or do you want to open up a new tab? Depending on the experience that I want the person to have is what I want to do. Do I want a whole new tab to open up for them and they still have this tab open as well? Then I'll do it in the new tab, right? And then the design, how do I want the button to look? So let me move this out the way so you can see the button that was created so far. I programmed it so that certain buttons would already have a certain look in another part of my website. So this is the way it showed up automatically, but you can change it all. So the alignment right now is to the left. I want to align it to the middle. See how it went to the middle of that column? The text says, let me change the content of the text. So I go content, text, right here where the button, the text for the button says click here. Let's say I want to go to product page. Or product catalog, my bad. Catalog, right? You see how it changed it in real time to the text on the button? That's all there is to it. Then you go to design. I already made it aligned in the middle of this column. If I want the text to be dark or light, the button itself. Oh yeah, let's make custom styles. So the button text size, this is where we're going to do the button text size. Right now it's at 16, but I can make it much bigger. See how I'm just making it huge. The text color, I can make it red. I can and do whatever color. These 3 buttons under here expand all your different color options. You see, it's very, very visual. And then you can change the background of the button. You can change the background color, which is be a solid color. You can make the background a gradient, or you can put an image on the background for this button. So I'm going to show you what the gradient looks like. If I add a gradient, it shows, you add this color. It automatically put these 2 colors, but you can change it by just tapping on the color. You can make it green for this one, or what is that, orange? And then I tap on this one over here and I can make it purple. And you see how I just changed it. It's just super, super, super simple. And then you can change the direction. You can change the gradient type. You can make it a circular gradient. You can make it a elliptical, conical gradient. You see, just by experimenting is how you'll see. Let me double check the chat. Okay. Just by experimenting, you can just figure out what you want it to look like. Okay. And repeat the gradient. You can put a border on the button. See, I made the border 15 pixels. I can make it wider and wider and wider. Let's put a border on the button. And all of this is under the design tab in the button settings. You can design it really however you want, right? You can change the font. Let's make it this one. You see, it just changed the font. You can, there's just so much you can change. You can put an icon so that when people hover over it, this little icon will show up. You can change the color of the icon. You can put a shadow on the text. All of this, just like graphic designing, all of this is available to you to change make it look exactly how you want it to look. Because I clicked on this thing here that says custom styles. If you don't do the custom style thing, then it's going to just put a default setting for what you want your button to look like. And literally that is it. Now what you do is if you want to add more, you can add more things within the section. So look, you see this, the blue border of this section. You can just follow it all the way around and you see that everything inside of this blue border is inside of this section, right? And then this is the row that's in the section. I have 1 row in this section, right? And then in this row, I have 3 modules. Remember, the modules is the actual meat and potatoes of your website. And that's how you organize it. So let's say, for example, I just wanted a section that has this background. What is a chartreuse background, yellow background with 3 different elements on it. Now I want to have a new section that doesn't have this background. So that's when I would click on this. Now at the bottom of these borders, you'll see a plus sign. That means you're going to add a new row if you're going to click on the green one for the border of the row, or add a new section if you click on the blue plus button, or you can add a module right underneath the module that you have, and it's going to put it inside of the organization shell that you are already in. You can move them afterwards wherever you want them to go by hovering over this cross thing and just moving it around. For example, this module, I hover over this crossroads thing and I click on it, hold it. I'm scrolling over here and I want to put it in the middle instead of to the left. And you see, that's what it did there. But somehow it made an extra row. Yeah, it made me extra row. I don't want that extra row. I only want 3. So, okay, so it doesn't automatically move everything over. But you see how you could just move them around. Let's say I want this to go underneath in this row. So now I got my gallery, I got the demo blurb, and I got this button. This is actually a button that I made really big. underneath the demo blurb. And now this right column, most right column is all the way empty. I could put it back in the right column. Boom, you see? Now let's say I wanted people to scroll and then for the background to change. So I do a new section because remember, we changed the background color on the section level. This section is what has the background yellow. The row just has a transparent background, so it's showing the background of the section. And then these modules also have a transparent background, so it's showing the background of whatever it's in as well. But I could change the background, for example, if I go to settings of the row, I can go to design. No, wait, my bad. It's under content. Go to background. And then let's make the background of the row alone white. You see? So now just the row is white. And then the modules, you can do the same thing with the module. You can change the look, the background of every single level of this organization so that you end up with a design exactly how you want it. That's why they organize it like this, so that you can have, and it's a pretty simple organization level. There's only 3 levels. There's only 3 levels to this organization. It's the section, the rows, and then in the rows is the module. And like I said, the module is where you're going to choose what it actually is that you have on your website, the information, the product, the sign-in form for email, the product gallery, all of that, the video, okay? Now let's say underneath this section, I didn't want it to be yellow anymore. So I'm going to do a new section, right? No, it's regular. And now it automatically prompts me to add the row. What kind of rows do I want? Well, this time let's do one where it's very slim on the left and very wide on the right. Okay, then it automatically pulls up what kind of module now do you want in this first row to the left. And let's say I want to put, I don't know, an icon, I don't know. And then it gives me all the different icons I could possibly put. You can search them here. So let's put food, for example. So hamburger. So you see here, I put a little image of a hamburger. And then I still can, my row that I just added has 2 columns. The one on the left has the icon. The one on the right, you can add whatever. Let's say we're going to add we can add a menu. Menus you make in another part of the website as you are designing your pages, it's automatically kind of making a menu for you, but you can have a bunch of different menus. You can, if you notice on some websites have menus on the top that are different than the menu on the bottom of the website. So that's really easy to configure as well, but that's on your dashboard for your WordPress. Right now we're designing the page. So I just put in there, this is a menu module that I just added to this column here in this row, and it automatically populated a menu, my main menu that I have programmed to show up as a default. And these are all the pages on my website that just showed up automatically as the menu. And now under the content tab, you can change certain elements and add the basic elements that you want of this menu. So if I wanted to put my logo on it, it will automatically have this, but you can go into settings and choose whatever one you want. So let's say I want this logo to show up, right? And those are, if it's not already there, you can, it'll just give you the option to upload it. And you just upload it and choose it. So you see, I put the menu now. When I go to design, that's how I'm going to change the way it looks. So this is a left aligned menu. I could do a centered menu where you see my logo on the top and then the pages on the bottom. Each of these modules, you just go in them and kind of just experiment and see the different options that they have. You know, menu text, you can make it, right now it's 14 pixels. You can make it, you see how the text of my menu is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's literally how you design it. This is literally how you design it. There's no code. It's very graphic. It's very intuitive, and it's really simple. It's the thing of just organizing your information remembering you got sections first. That's the umbrella, biggest container. Inside that container is your row, which is outlined in green. And you can change your configurations even after you've added content to your rows. So let's say I want to go back to having an equal width column, 2-column row. And it did change it after I even added the stuff to it. And then inside of rows, you have your modules. And your modules are where you add the content, the actual content of your website. And the different modules is what you add, is what you're going to use for the different types of content on your website. And depending, you can, like for example, if I scroll all the way down, Woo modules, these are added and they'll show up underneath as an option in my insert module box once you download the WooCommerce plugin, which is free. That makes you able to have a store on your website. WooCommerce is one of the plugins that you can use that's very popular, very reliable to have a store on your website. It just gives you all the functionality to have products that have prices and all that stuff. So and so when I go into Woo modules, for example, it gives me all these different options that only came as an option in my module box here, options, once I downloaded the WooCommerce plugin. So for example, let's say I wanted to add a picture of a product or the title of a product, right? So, or let me do the picture of the product, so Woo product. So how many products do I want to show? Okay, so this Woo products is showing me, is going to show, right now the default setting is 12 products, but let's do 4. I'll move this on the side so you can see. So this automatically populated this underneath, because remember how I got here was I clicked on this plus that had to do with this module, which is the icon module. You can tell the icon, and when I clicked on the plus, it add a new module, and it gives me the choice of what kind of module I want. I clicked on Woo products, and I said, I want you to show me 4 different products. So this is the module that we have. You can click on the settings button of a module to see what module you're using. See, when it pulled up the settings, it says Woo product settings. So this is the type of module that I'm using here, is a Woo product module. If I click on the settings for this over here, the menu, it says menu settings, but it has the same 3 different categories of how they categorize all the different ways that you could edit this module, right? This is a menu module. This one here, if I click on the settings for this is an icon module. So it's icon settings. I can make it big, change the color, whatever. So like I said, and you could just keep designing, just keep on going down as far as you want. Let's say, for example, I want to continue with this same type of background that this section has, so I don't necessarily need a new section. There's going to be a bunch of different reasons why you'd want a new section or why you'd want to stay within that same section. So we're going to just stay in this section, which is the blue, right? But I want a new row because this row has 2 columns, but I need a new row underneath this that has 6 columns. Right? So now I have a new row. Let me close this because it automatically prompts me to add a module. So now you see I got a new row that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. Right? And in each of these columns for this row, I can put a different module. This one could be an email opt-in. This one could be a product. This one could be a whole text paragraph. This one could be just the image. This one could be a video. That's how you add content to a Divi website. It's really simple. I hope I did it justice. I hope I didn't do too complicated. But if you just remember, it is section, which is blue. And then there's the row inside of the section. And then in the rows is where you put the module. The modules are gray outlined. And these modules are what is how you're going to add the actual content to your site. And so let's just add a module right here in this random row, in this column of this random row. And let's say we want a new, I don't know, audio. You can put some kind of sound there. It could be a link to something. You can put an image, the audio file itself. You could upload it, and when people press play, it just plays. You see, so everything you could possibly want to add to a website there's going to be a module for it. And if there's not a module already on your website for it, then you're going to find the free plugin for it. Okay, you just download, Google it. For example, I wanted to do I guess the example is the Woo modules. None of these Woo modules were here until I downloaded the WooCommerce plugin, and then now I'm able to add, just the title of a product, just the price of a product, a gallery of all the different products in this category that I have, so people can scroll through it. So yeah, and that's literally it. That's literally it. And then you just play around with it. That's as deep as it goes as far as how to design it. There's a lot of other shortcuts that you can do as far as how I made this header, and I made this footer to show up automatically on every blank new page that I do. But even in doing this, it's organized in the same way. This is actually an email opt-in module. This here is a menu module. This here is a row, right? So this is in its own section with its own background, with a gradient background. When you keep going, this is a row with 3 columns. In here I have this graphic. In here I have my logo and some text. This is a logo. This is an image module. Underneath the image module is text. And then this is my social media icons here. And then in the 3rd column, same thing with this. It's just that this is a new row. These 3 items here, this logo with this stripe, this is all one image. And this image here, this is on a new row. But this row, I made it narrower, so it's not as spread out. And then this here, disclaimer, is in another row. And it's this module that this is in is a text module. And this is a row with only 1 column. And I put a text module in that row. And all of this is in the same one section. And all of this is in a different section. But all of this is part of my footer. And it's designed the same way that I design all this other stuff, just in a different location, so that it's called a header, and this is the header, and the other one was the footer. But that is literally it. That is literally it. That's all you have to it. Is you got the section, and then in the section is the row, and then in the rows are your modules. And that's it. So I can go deeper in the other design elements and stuff like that, but to really to get to designing it, that's really all you need to know. And it's that simple. So, okay, I hope that was helpful. And if need be, I'll go a little deeper later. Okay, peace.